I'm Wayne Green, editorial pages editor of the Tulsa World, and I'm talking to Joshua Harris Till, one of the organizers of State Question 816. State Question 816, currently circulating among voters in Oklahoma, would undo legislation passed by the Oklahoma legislature last year that would penalize protesters who are considered to be rioting, and even allow people driving cars to strike protesters if they're in fear of their lives, or if their traffic is being impeded. Joshua, who should be concerned about this effort?
I think that everyone in Oklahoma should be concerned about this effort. I think when they created this, it was about the Black Lives Matter protests. And there are a lot of people who didn't come to the Black Lives Matter protests. There are a lot of people whose kids did. There are a lot of teachers who showed up. There are a lot of regular, everyday folks that your friends, you would consider friends and family, who were there. But I think it's so much deeper than that, because in their attempt to target this group, you think about the teachers walkout, where you had educators walking from Tulsa to Oklahoma City. They occupied the streets when they were doing that walk. When you think about Planned Parenthood always having protesters out in front of it, Oklahoma law says 3 or more people can be deemed a riot. And so you have those people whose lives are in danger. When you think about these kind of souls to the polls, you see a whole group of people marching to the election board. It's not about regular folks like me and you. The unfortunate part is there's some extremists out there who are looking for an opportunity, and I think this law gives them an opportunity. It doesn't need to be in place. We unfortunately saw in Tulsa that you can run over people and not be charged. So let that standard remain. Get rid of this unjust law before it costs us lives.
Joshua, I inarticulately described House Bill 1674. Could you describe what this law that you're trying to get overturned does?
For sure. It has 3 main parts. The first part is it infringes upon the First Amendment, in my opinion. It says that you don't have the right to peacefully assemble in this country if your peaceful assembly unnecessarily inconveniences traffic. I don't know what that means, but I think historically as a nation, we've taken to the streets when we didn't feel like our voices are heard, and this is impeding on our ability to do that. The second part, and probably the most dangerous, is it says that if a person is in fear of their life or their property, they have the right to run somebody over as long as they practice due care. I don't know what practicing due care means when you're running over somebody with a vehicle. It's not defined in the legislation. I think it's just bad. And then the third part, I think, targets grassroots organizations. It says if a person who's deemed a rioter is conspiring with your organization, then your organization can be held financially liable. We don't know what that threshold is. Is this a person who likes us on Facebook? Did they come to 1 or 2 meetings? Have they maybe sat on the board or were a previous elected member of the organization? We don't know what that means. But I think that they can be used to target specific organizations, and that's just bad for business. We need those organizations who don't already have the resources necessary to be able to thrive. And this law is just bad. We used to be in this organization where we wrote legislation, like mock legislation, and we said if it's bad legislation, we don't pass it. And that's exactly what this is. Horrible definitions, no real guidance, and it's creating a law that's completely unnecessary and jeopardizes lives.
Joshua Harris Till, one of the organizers of State Question 816. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne.